Okay, so I'm going to show a couple things here. I use different bottles for bottling my kombucha, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a basic way that I bottle with the bottles that use bottle cappers, and what I used. So I got this from a local store, local bottling store, and I believe it was around $15 if I remember correctly. And I'm going to show you how this one works. I'm going to scoot some of these out the way here. We need a little room. These are all full of regular kombucha. I added some fruit juice with them, but they have regular kombucha in them. And so I'm going to take a cap. Now this has actually a magnet on it that you can stick it on there and then put it over there. But I like to put it on top of there. And when you put it on, now it doesn't take a lot of pressure, but you'll see on the sides, there's some grooves. There's a channel where these have to go into. There's like to make sure it's on straight. And then once it's on straight, you don't have to use a lot of pressure. Then you just go down and boom. It's on and it's capped and you're good to go. And so I'm just gonna show you one more. I'll do the rest off camera so not to waste your time. But again, just showing you, put it on, make sure it's in the channel. Now, if you buy one of these, you'll see what I'm talking about. Make sure it's in the channel, and I'll try to show a closer shot. But because if it's not in the channel and you try to do this, you can actually go and crook it and cut into your bottle and break your bottle. Believe me, I know because I did it. So let me show you here. See, I think you can see there's these grooves right there. And so when you come down, it goes together, and so it has to go inside there. If you come and one of them's not going inside, like this one's going on the outside now, then it's gonna go on crooked, it's gonna break your bottle. So you gotta make sure they both are going inside, and then boom, and that's all there is to it. Okay, so you can get a case of bottles around here, a case of 24 of 12-ounce bottles like this are around about $15. And then I can get a pound of caps like this, for a pound of them for about $5. And so, but you can use other things to bottle yours with. You can use old kombucha bottles or whatever, okay? So that's that. Now I wanna come over here and I wanna show you how to make kombucha from, let me back this up a little bit here. I'll show you how to make kombucha if you don't have a scoby, all right? So I have my empty jar here, okay? And let me try to get a little bit more, a bit further angle. I have an empty jar. And so what this represents right here, this is just plain kombucha. So you can go to the store and buy a plain kombucha, okay? And so this is like if I went to the store and bought a bottle of plain kombucha, all right? And so when I say plain, that means it's not flavored with other fruit juices, because you want to try to get one that's plain. Some places you can't even find them where they're plain anymore. And so I would say if there's like a lemon kombucha or a ginger kombucha and that's all there is in there, then get that one, but try to get a plain one. Okay, so you got that. And so what you're going to do is you got your black tea right here. And what this is 8 tea bags. And it was, and I steeped it in, this is about, I guess, what is this? About 4 cups of water, but we're gonna end up making a gallon of tea. And so this is a cup of sugar right here. So 8 tea bags, and just get enough water where it can steep pretty good with 8 tea bags. And pour your sugar in there. And you wanna make sure you can stir that up. Make sure that sugar dissolves in there. You want it to dissolve nice and clear. So after you stir that up and let it dissolve, now I'm gonna move this jar out the way, it doesn't need to be here. So you let it dissolve like that. Then after it's dissolved, then you'll pour it into your gallon jar. After you pour that into your gallon jar, then you're gonna fill it. You're gonna if that's hot, you want to make sure you cool it down to where it's around room temperature. Again, because we don't want to kill the SCOBY. If the water is a little bit colder than that, it's just going to make the SCOBY a little dormant. But once it warms up, it becomes active and you'll be fine. But you don't want it too hot where you kill it. And so that's pretty, I can say this is pretty much room temperature. And of course, room temperature means it's not, I don't feel any extra warmth outside of, you know, from what's inside the glass into what's in my hand, the air in my hands. And so now, this is like a bottle of kombucha you buy at the store, and you just pour that in there, just like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill mine up with the remainder thing of water, but what you can do after that is just cover it up like this, and put your rubber band on there like this, and make sure you want it that where no fruit flies can get in there. And then you just put it up in a dark, warm place for 4 weeks, and it'll actually produce a SCOBY, and it'll actually start making the kombucha as well. And that's all there is to it. So what I'm going to do, I'll check in each week. Well, not probably each week. I'll probably check in about 2 weeks and show you what it looks like. Then also at 4 weeks again, we'll look at it and we'll see how it has formed its own SCOBY. Okay? But I'm going to put more water in mine because I don't want my SCOBY. Because if I just left it like this right now, where my water line is, that's how big my SCOBY is going to be. So it's going to be that wide, but it's going to be thinner. So I want mine to be smaller but thicker, and so I'm going to fill up the water to almost to the top there. Okay, all right, and that's all you need to do to make your own homemade SCOBY and get your kombucha process started if somebody has not given you a SCOBY. But a lot of people, if you know anybody that makes homemade kombucha around you, I guarantee you they'll have extra SCOBYs, because what happens after you make 3 or 4 batches, it automatically reproduces another SCOBY. And so a lot of people throw them away. In fact, I have probably about 7 SCOBYs in my refrigerator right now that I'm probably just going to throw away, because I just have put up in a jar up in my cabinet right up here that has tea in it. I just put some SCOBYs in that one, and I think there's like 6 SCOBYs in that one. So yeah, I have SCOBYs to give away. And so if you know anybody in your area that is making kombucha, a lot of times you can just ask them. They'll be willing to give you a SCOBY to get started. But if you don't have anybody to ask, this is all you need to do. You just need to go buy 1 bottle of homemade kombucha from the store, and again, 8 tea bags and 1 cup of sugar, and let that tea steep for about 10 minutes, and then pour that cup of sugar in there and stir it all up. And then you want all that to get room temperature, so you can add some cold water to it, and then fill it up to about also pour your kombucha from the store in there, and just put it up in a warm place. Again, this is important. This is extremely important. You really need to use purified water with this, because water that's chlorinated can actually kill the bacteria that's needed to develop your SCOBY. Okay, so you want to make sure you use purified water. All right, that's all there is to it. God bless you all.